Hello beautiful people and welcome to this video. Today we are discussing about the study I did about agencies in India. I asked them their SEO and their website development charges. I also asked them if they are doing white hat practices or not. So for that I asked them if they what type of link building do they did, and this video is of me telling you everything I did from the starting, from the ending, how I collected the data and everything. So yeah, let's start the video. Let's discuss the first point. So the first point is, how did I get the idea about doing this study? So the idea actually came from a LinkedIn profile. This is very hilarious, but yeah, bear with me. So this person sent me a LinkedIn request. I will put up their photo here. So this person sent me a request and I looked at their profile, and oh god, it was very funny because right from their headline to their about section to their posts to everything, there was a huge amount of keyword stuffing. Like everywhere it was written like SEO expert and digital marketing expert, and I will help you do this, and I will help you do this and that. It was a prime example of keyword stuffing, and it really made me curious that if he is doing this to his own profile, then how is he helping his clients become the best in their SEO efforts. So I thought of asking some agencies about like what are their charges for SEO and their website development. And at starting I thought I will do only like 20-ish websites agencies, but at the end the number grew up to be like 200, and it was a huge number for me. At this point I didn't have a solid plan, like what do I need to do, how would I execute the study, how will I pull up the data from everywhere. So I started everything in my Notion. I made a template and I started everything from there. Then I thought, like, if I'm doing the study, like why shouldn't you do it like in full blown way. So I thought of doing this study for not just 20-ish agency but for the whole India as a country. So I instantly made the list of most popular cities in India, and I wrote all of them in one place so that I will have an idea. At this point I made the list of 23 cities, and these cities covered the north, west, east, south and northeast parts of India, so basically the whole India basically. And these cities included everything from Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune, Ahmedabad and Guwahati. So every city was there basically. And now it came the most exciting part, to actually go and find these agencies. So as I have worked in an agency myself, I worked as an intern, so I had a fair bit of idea like what kind of keywords do they target for their own site, and I settled on the keyword best digital marketing in city name. So for example, best digital marketing agency, best digital marketing agency in Delhi and best digital marketing agency in Mumbai, and so on. So this was the main keyword by which I will be searching for all of the agencies. And I went on Google and I searched at them and I searched in the search box, and because it was a local search, the map pack opened and I made a list from there. And because I basically made the list of agencies from there, I picked a few of the agencies and I started to make them into a list. This process took 3 to 4 days to complete because there were a lot of cities and a lot of agencies. So it took 3 to 4 days to complete, and now I had 120-ish kind of agencies in my list, and now I had to find a contact so I could contact them. So the best thing I thought was email address. So finding email addresses was very hard because some websites didn't mention email address on their website. Some agencies had wrong email addresses mentioned on their site, and some don't have like any sort of contact information like email address, phone, anything. So to reach out to these agencies, I did like what every business do. So I sent out emails to them, and like I have contacted, and other than emails, I think I've contacted them through WhatsApp and doing calls, like voice calls on WhatsApp. So as I like mentioned earlier, there wasn't many website who had like correct email addresses mentioned on their website, so it was very hard to work with few addresses. So I tried to work with these much addresses only, and I made an email template for sending them email, and this is how it looked. So as I was sending these emails, I got to know that many email addresses were undeliverable, because like if I sent email to them, they like were not delivering at all. So this caused a very huge problem, because now I cannot contact many agencies, and this like dropped my number. So if I had to contact 120 agencies, it dropped my number to like 70 or 80 something. And I sent out emails to everybody in the whole 23 cities thing, and I waited for a bunch of days to see if these addresses were deliverable or not, and like how many are actually good email addresses or not. So it turned out almost 40% of email addresses were undeliverable, and mostly like many people also grey-listed my email address, so I couldn't send any email to them, and nobody was replying through them. And this was very sad, because I sent out email to many people, and not many people replied to them. So I had like only 10 to 15 people who replied to me by my emails. So it was like very sad moment for me, because I sent out emails to like almost 150 people, and only 10 to 20 people replied to me through emails. So after I didn't got much success from email, so I decided that I will try to contact them through WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is more popular in India and many businesses have made their accounts on them. So I tried to find their numbers on their website, but now I had to again go into the rabbit hole of looking at each one of their website and try to find a number, and then writing their numbers in my Notion template. It was a very hard process basically. And when I was finding the WhatsApp numbers, I again encountered with a problem, because I don't know why that happened, but many agencies had not updated their WhatsApp numbers on their website. Many websites had wrong number on their website, and this caused me a problem, because I had made a list earlier, and when I was contacting them, I got to know that many numbers were not correct. So yeah, but the WhatsApp thing worked for me, because I really got a huge amount of numbers, and I tried contacting them, and yeah, most of the numbers were deliverable, so I could send a message to them. But sending out the messages was a very long process, because I had to manually like copy paste the message into each of the agency, and it took a very long time. It took like 7 or 8 days for me to complete, because I'm the only one and I did all of it by myself, so it took a very very long time. So I sent out the messages to each one of these agencies, but the process was very huge, like it took a very long time. But I was again became sad, because not many people responded back to me. I sent it out to I think 170 sort of agencies, and only 100 of them like actually replied to me with something meaningful. So yeah, that was very sad, because the response rate is very low. In email it was far less, and in WhatsApp messages it is more, but still less, like what I had expected like before. But the good thing is many agencies actually responded on WhatsApp, and these agencies didn't reply back to me on email. I don't know why that happened, but yeah, most of them replied on WhatsApp, which was a good thing. And yeah, many people ignored my messages. Basically, I sent out messages to them, but they didn't reply to me. They just saw my message and they ignored it. But I think at this point I again got back, and I again had to find more and more agencies because the data was not like good enough. So I again went and I again find maybe 20 or 30 more agencies, and I again had to find their email addresses or find their WhatsApp number, and I again had to contact them for information. So now we will look at the actual data, and I will tell you how it is all looking together. So I will tell you that all of the data which I will mention in this video will be in United States dollar. So if you want to see the data in Indian rupees, then I have actually made it in my post, so you will find it in the description. I will link out to that post, so you will find the Indian version in that post. So the first data we are talking about is website cost, like how much it will take to make a website, fully functional website. So my main thing was I asked these agencies how much money it will take for them to build a 40 pages website, like 40 pages website related to real estate, and here are the pricings. So the minimum cost of making a website was just $61, and the maximum cost of making a website was $9,760, and the website which was like $9,000 something, it was a custom build website, like it's not on WordPress, so it's for a custom build website which has like more advanced features like for a real estate website. So this is what they told me actually, so this is what I'm telling you. I also made a graph for these costs, so here is the graph if you can see it. So for understanding this graph, I am also showing the numbers, so here are the numbers. So if you can see from the graph, most agencies were charging like $1 to $500, and this is very less if you compare this to costs of making websites in United States or maybe in Europe, because there it starts from $5,000 or something, but in India the starting cost was just $61. The more interesting thing to note here is that some agencies also told that they will give free hosting and domain to the client, and some agencies told that client have to give hosting and domain separate. So if we are talking like $100 charge, so the agency who was charging $100 told me that they will give the hosting and domain for free, but I think the more expensive agencies told me that the hosting and domain should be from the client. So it was kind of a messy thing. So the time, like I asked them how much time it will take to make the actual website, so most of them told me that it will, like, as it was a real estate kind of website, so it will take anywhere from like 30 to 120 days. So this was the whole timeline. Some representative, like the agency's representative, asked me like if I will provide them content or do they have to write the content. So in all of the cases I told them that you guys have to write the content. So the cost of writing content was very less, it was like 0.0092, and it was from there to 0.037 per word. So this was the cost per word for content, and the majority of agencies were providing content for less than $0.024, and there were a handful of agencies who were like charging a little more on the side of $0.037. So yeah, this was the more maximum kind of price. So if we were have to write a 1,000-word post, which is kind of standard, so it will, so if we have to write a blog post of 1,000 words at $0.024, it will be $24, and if we have to write it in $0.037, it will be $37. which is way less if you compare these costs to maybe the US or the Europe costs. Now we are talking about the SEO cost, like how much it will take to do the SEO of the website. So again, the question was very simple. I asked them how much it will take to do SEO on this 40-page website which you are building, and the findings are very interesting. So let's look at them. Some agencies give me a fixed cost per page, while others gave me a fixed cost per keyword, and some told me cost of like 3 months or 6 months, like a quarter. I don't know how much a quarter is, but yeah, some gave me costs per page, per keyword, some gave me cost of per month, and some gave me cost of like 3 months to 6 months. So the cost of per page per keyword was like $12. So if you have to optimize only one page on the website, it will be like $12. So however pages you will have, you will multiply that by 12. So if you have like 40 pages on, like I was asking for 40 pages on the website, so optimizing those 40 pages multiplied by 12, it will be $480. So this was the cost for the SEO. So now, like I had gathered all the data, so I will tell you what the monthly cost of SEO was. So interestingly, the cost of SEO per month and the making of website was like very similar. The minimum cost of doing SEO per month was $61, and the maximum cost of doing SEO was $9,790. Interestingly, they are the same numbers, and I am very shocked like why they are same numbers, but yeah, they are. So I have prepared a pie chart for you, and here is the chart. You can see the numbers. So the pie chart is very interesting, like almost 75% of the chart is like in one pricing, and other is different pricing. So I actually made a table for you to better understand this chart. So here is the table. So as you can see from the table, most of the people were charging between $1 to $500, and specifically most agencies charge by like $1 to $250. So this was the main bracket in which they were charging. This bracket had more agencies basically. So if we talk about the monthly retainer thing, most agencies gave me the on page thing as one time cost. So they will build the pages, build the content, and make everything. This will be one time cost, and every month they will just build backlinks to it. They will not do anything, like they will not touch the content, they will not make any new blogs on the website. It was just like on page was for like the starting month, and every month they will build backlinks for the site. So from what I can understand, they are not writing too many blogs on the website like as some of them told me. Their main focus was to build the number of backlinks. So the race was how much backlinks can they build, in terms of quantity, not quality. So along with that, I try to know like if they're actually following some good practices or not. So I think for that I selected backlinks as a factor. So I actually asked them what kind of backlinks do you build, and the results are almost shocking to me, but it is not that much shocking because I already knew it. I already predicted most of the results before doing the study. So here is a graph you can take a look at. This graph shows which backlink strategy is most effective and which backlink strategy is most popular between agencies. So according to this data, the most popular backlink is article submission, and after that social bookmarking is the second most popular kind of backlink, and some backlinks which are like very good in terms of their quality, which are like digital PR backlinks or maybe broken link building. These backlinks were very less in terms of building, like not many people were building them. So this is something I can understand because not many people are trying to make qualitative links. They are only focused on quantity. I have talked with some agencies and some companies who only relied on digital PR, and this was kind of interesting to see, because most of these agencies are building links which are not even accepted by Google, if you can understand what I mean. So now I will tell you a little story, little thing, like how do these spammy backlink kind of things works. So there is this manager in every agency, and he is given a target that you will have to build 200 maybe 200 article submission or 100 classified or things like that. So this manager will tell everybody who is junior that you will have to build this amount of backlink at the end of this month. You can build more than this number, but you cannot build less than this number. So then everybody have to go look for websites from where you can build these links. You have to maintain a Excel sheet or maybe Google sheet, and you will write all of the websites name, and you will write the DA, right? The DA, the PA, and the spam score. All of this you can find in extensions like Mozbar or Hrefs, anything. So we used to find those things, and now you have to look at only those websites whose DA and PA are above a certain range. So like websites who have a DA more than 40 or maybe 50, or having spam score lower than 5%. So this was our parameters. So this is what we have to work with, and we will go and build links on each one of these websites by logging in and signing up and making the link, things like that. So at the end of the month, the manager will talk to the client and they will tell you, oh wow, we have built 500 backlinks, we have built 100 classifieds, 100 article submission, 100 social bookmarking, and we have done like these much kind of backlinks, and now we deserve more money. So what did we find out? Like, what is the actual conclusion of this study? So we find out that the variation between the pricing was very huge. So in terms of both SEO and web development, the starting prices were $61, and it went up to like $9,760 if I am right. So between these, it is a very huge variation. It makes us question, like, is there any difference between the $61 service or the $9,000 services? I don't think there is much difference between two, because when I ask them like what is the difference, so they actually like all agreed to make the website on WordPress, and all agreed to make the website exactly how I showed them. Like, I showed them a reference website, and they all agreed to make a website related to that. So I don't think there is much difference between the $60 service and the $9,000 service. And secondly, I will tell you that many agencies had very horrible kind of websites. Like, their own website is very trashy in terms of like looking, the illustrations and the user experience. It is very bad. It is kind of horrible. And I'm wondering, like, if they are not updating their own website, how they can assure that their client website will be good enough. And the most interesting thing, I got to know that the response rate of these agencies is very low. Like, I emailed to almost 150 agencies and only 20 of them replied to me, and when I messaged to almost 170 agencies, only 100 agencies only replied to me. So the response rate is very low. This was kind of frustrating, and this was kind of interesting to me. And I don't know why even many people who replied, they were like not very fast, not very snappy kind of people. They were like, we replied once and now we will reply 3 days later. Like, I don't know why it is that the communication is not happening properly, which should happen. If you are onboarding a new client, if you want to make a new client, then the communication part must be fast enough. So another interesting thing to note here is that if these agencies are charging very little from their clients, how much are they paying to their employees? So for example, if some agency is charging $200 from a client, then how much can they pay to their employees? Like, I don't think you can pay more than $100 to the employee. So this is very interesting and sad thing for me, because the employees are doing the most amount of job in terms of the client not the client handling, but the doing the actual work of making website and doing SEO on it, and you are not paying them good enough. And even if the price of SEO is increasing, the backlink strategy is not changing. So the $61 client will also make the article submission backlinks, and then $10,000 client will also, agency will also make the article submission sort of backlinks. So there is not much difference between the services of a cheaper client agency or a more expensive agency. I don't think there is much difference between the two. So I think I can say that there is not a much difference between the services of these two clients. So with this, I would like to end the video. I hope you find this study to be very helpful. I find it very interesting to work on it, because there were many things I explored and I got to know about it that I didn't know earlier. So I think this study was very interesting for me. I hope you find it interesting too. If you are looking for the Indian rupees version, I will link the post in the description down below. So thank you and bye.